I'm Rose Cushing, host of Carolina Hoofbeats TV. I'm here today with Megan Fulgraf, and we're learning all about Dartmoor Ponies. So Megan, tell me a little bit about your ponies.
This is a competition pair that I compete in combined driving events. They've been together for 4 years now, competing at preliminary level. And we've had several wins, and they're coming along great, and we're hoping to move up to intermediate soon.
How old are they?
They are 12 and 9.
Very nice. And what got you into the Dartmoor Ponies?
I actually have a history of driving drafts and really wanted to get into driving a pair, and I ended up having a few Dartmoors here and there through the last couple of years, and I ended up deciding that was going to be the way that I was going to go for a pair.
Awesome.
They're fantastic ponies. They're stout and small and powerful little packages.
They're very beautiful. How long does it take them to get to the level that these guys are at?
Well, so these guys are middle-aged. I've had them for 4 years working with them. I think the general rule is usually 7 to 8 years with a professional getting them to the top level. So this is my first pair, so of course it's going to take a little bit longer.
Right.
But yeah, we're getting there.
And in a combined driving event, there's more than one type of style, like they have dressage and obstacles. And
combined driving events are very similar to eventing. They have 3 different phases. So we have the dressage phase, the cones phase, and the marathon phase. And so it's basically a very similar type style to eventing. And they take place over 3 different days. And it showcases the elegance of the pony and the control, as well as the speed and the performance.
I noticed that these guys are pretty good movers. I mean, they seem to be ready to go, so that looks like they enjoy the driving very much.
They do. These guys really enjoy the job, and they've really taken to working as a pair together, and they're both very forward ponies. I have no problem with gas in the tank.
That's for sure. They look like they'd be fun to drive.
Yes.
So what is your bucket list for them next?
Well, my goal is to move up to intermediate, hopefully in the next year. They're coming along. We're working on the dressage and continue to move up the levels. And of course, I've got some youngsters that are coming along. And are we good? Okay. I've got some youngsters coming along that'll eventually move in as these guys age up, and they'll be the schoolmasters for those guys.
Right. And when you do that, do you drive one of these with a young one to kind of teach them?
Absolutely. Yeah, you always put an experienced pony with a youngster and let them learn their job.
What made you fall in love with this breed?
Honestly, the work ethic these ponies have. I think in the United States, I think they're not well enough known. I think a lot more people would enjoy them. So we're really trying to get them out and get them in the public eye a little more. They're very popular in the driving world. You see them quite a lot at shows. There's usually at least 4 or 5, if not more. There's several 4-in-hands of Dartmoors now. They're just a fantastic breed. I won't say they're easy, but the work ethic that they have and the drive to perform is just fantastic.
They are awesome. So you're going to bring these guys to the Expo?
They will be there.
All right. So you'll get a chance to meet these guys in person at the Everything Equine Expo in Lumberton, August 23rd through the 25th, and get a chance to talk to Megan a little bit about it. You never know. This might be a horse for you.
Rural American lifestyle. It's how we work, and it's how we play. It's how we learn and how we enjoy the finer things in life. How we take care of our animals and tend to the land. It's a way of life. Has been for hundreds of years. Now there's a whole new way for rural America to watch TV.
Rose is on the back at the moment, which normally would be the role of a navigator. And the navigator not only navigates a hazard on a course, on the marathon, but their other job is when they are wheeling through these hazards, it is the navigator's job to keep that carriage upright, because they are going to be making some pretty hard, fast turns. Okay. So anyway, that would be the job of what Rose is on the back. And you'll see that at the Expo. Make a turn, then they change their position so that the carriage stays upright when centrifugal force begins to take hold. In the cones and the dressage, the navigator sits on the back and says nothing. They're not allowed to say anything. Only on the marathon are they active. And otherwise, they're there as a safety issue so that if anything, they have to stop or whatever, the navigator would get off and get to their heads. So that is why you always have a second person on the back. This sport was developed by Prince Philip. When he could no longer event, he figured out how to do this driving, and he always drove fell ponies, but he is the one who started the sport and perfected it. And he still drives. So it's a lot of fun. Pairs are more work than singles. Four-in-hands are a whole lot of work compared to a pair. It's just, the equipment changes and there's more requirements. But in the sport of driving, one of the nice things about driving is it's a lot of families. There are a lot of husband-wife teams that do this together, and we show up at the different shows. There's usually a barbecue going on, and so it's really a lot of fun. I'm not saying it doesn't get, as you get higher up, that it doesn't get real serious, because when you get into the big four-in-hand horses, then you end up with the Chester Webbers and the Misty Wrigleys, who have incredible four-in-hand teams, and if you ever get a chance to see them, go see them, because they are the best of the best. But you can see Rio, this inside pony right here, when he's moving, his movement is really great. And you can see the power. When we look for driving ponies, they have to have that power in the rear. And when we are looking at babies for future driving ponies, the first thing we look at is we look for the power in the rear. You don't worry about the front so much, it'll get out of the way. The most important part is that power in the rear. Again, watch Patty when she goes by. She's on this side. There you go.
So, Megan, this is such a cool vehicle to ride around on. It looks like a chariot.
It does.
Tell us a little bit about it.
This is a specialized vehicle that we use in the combined driving. It's used in the marathon phase. In the lower levels, it can be used in dressage and cones. But normally in the upper levels, intermediate and advanced, they've got what they call a presentation vehicle, which is a little more formal, a little fancier. And then these are used mainly for the marathon. And it is designed specifically for going fast and doing tight turns and fast turns.
All right. What are some of the special features? I think Rodney said it had airbags.
It's got airbag shocks. It's got rear disc brakes. It's got the platform in the back for the navigator to stand, and the navigator is there to help me. What's that? Oh yeah, I was getting to it. The rear step is designed so that the navigator can step back there. The navigator is responsible for keeping the dirty side down in the turns, and also helps make sure that I maintain my course, do all the gates properly, and don't get eliminated. The last feature that it's got is a brake right here underneath me on the front axle. It's called a fifth wheel brake. I can lock it in the turns, or I can lock it going down center line and help stabilize the pair. And I also on this one have delayed steering, which is a great feature that helps in doing the cones competitions. It allows the rear wheels to track with the front wheels, as opposed to the front wheels being a little bit inside. Okay. So there's all different kinds of little things that we've done to these carriages to help them perform for us.
That's really amazing. It certainly rode smooth.
Yes, it does. The air shocks definitely help you with that, instead of the traditional springs that most carriages used to have.
Right.
So yeah, it's a great vehicle.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Not a problem.
family business, create family adventures here at K&M Trailer Sales.
Mike Smith with K&M Trailer Sales, conveniently located right off Highway 152 in Rockwell, North Carolina. Come see me, I'm sure I got a trailer for you.
Hey, I'm Jim Thomas with Bartee Horsemanship, and I'd like to take a moment, and Sandy as well, would like to invite you to Everything Equine on the 23rd through 25th of August. It's a great opportunity to come down and see some of the most fantastic clinicians, demonstrations, and also a colt starting challenge. So there'll be so much to see. There's a farrier challenge going on that weekend, so you can pit your farrier against some of the local farriers in North Carolina. We might even have a farrier or two coming in from other states. But we'd just like to invite you to come down, spend some time with us again on the 23rd through 25th of August, and spend a little horse time with us at Everything Equine.
Hi, I'm Rose Cushing, host of Carolina Hoofbeats TV. We're here today at Single Tree Farm with Susan Duderman and the Dartmoor Ponies. And I think you're going to really enjoy learning all about these gorgeous ponies and their unique abilities and the things that they do, but most importantly, their personality and their disposition. And with me now is Susan Duderman, and she is the owner of Single Tree Farm.
Right.
And she's been credited to raising all these beautiful babies and importing them into the United States. And how long have you been doing this?
I've done it for a long time, and I'm also the president for the Dartmoor Pony Registry of America, and I have done this since the 80s. And I grew up with ponies all my life, but the Dartmoors appeared in the 80s, and I've had them ever since. So they've been wonderful.
Well, they are wonderful ponies, and the wonderful thing about the registry is that because Susan has a vast knowledge of these animals, they can keep the ponies true to what they really are. So there's not a lot of outbreeding and crossbreeding and things that don't work. So what you see is true to what they were hundreds of years ago in the moors of England.
True. So this is Shilstone Rock Snowshoes, who was imported from England 24 years ago. And he's been with me since he was a foal. Shoes rides and drives. He's shown all over the country, Devon, Walnut Hill. He actually won the ride and drive at Walnut Hill, but he's been a very successful pony. Has lots of foals and is very good with children. He's a good example of the breed. And most stallions, and you're going to see if I were going to criticize this stallion, he should probably have a little more bone. But other than that, he really is very nice. The two things about the Dartmoor pony are not only what you saw in the driving, which is their ability, their endurance, and their work ethic, but it is also their disposition. And this is a breeding stallion. He actually has a mare that he's living with that's over there in the barn. And when I wean the foals, the colt foals come and stay with him for the winter. He raises them. Again, this is typical of the breed. And the Dartmoor pony is a rare breed. So we have spent the last few years bringing new blood in from England. Now it's getting harder and harder because the bloodlines are getting smaller and smaller. However, we've been lucky, and there are a couple of excellent breeders who have been very diverse in their programs. And I told you about the New Take program, which will see some mares. The New Take program is where they run grade mares that the farmers have had for years with registered stallions. The government pays these registered stallions for 3 years. They're under contract to run out on the moors, and these are not the ponies that are wild out on the moors. These are the Dartmoor ponies, the purebred ponies that are in very specific areas. They're large areas. They have to they get picked up in the winter and then in the summer they run with the mares. They're not touched when they run with it, so they don't get their feet done. There's no vaccination. They just are out there. And we've brought some of those ponies over because we wanted some of that blood also in, excuse us, because we don't want them all to be what we call hothouse ponies, which come from the fancy farms, and they're, like mine have radios and fans, and, they're babied. We want that survival blood to remain in our lines, and we have very carefully made sure that we still have some of that blood. Shoes comes from a hothouse family. He comes from Shilston Rocks, which is one of the very long, famous breeding farms. And his brother was Shilston Rock Snow Fox, who was undefeated for 5 years under saddle, in hand, and very successful pony. I just got lucky and got him as a foal and whisked him out of the country before they could snatch him back. This pony is very interesting because he is like this. But when you have him at an event, at a driving event, such as he was at a thing for Devon, and it was at night, and he's standing there, and we have these little girls that came over, and they're playing with his mane, and he's sound asleep. It came time for him to go into the ring, and Tracy Morgan, who is my partner in crime with these ponies, our husbands tolerate us, and so she does all the international driving. Shoes, the minute he goes in that ring, the spotlight comes on him, and the people start clapping. He is alive, and he performs to the hilt. He's absolutely spectacular. Then he comes back out of the ring, and then he's back to sleep. He's a character. He's an absolute character. You're going to meet another stallion here, High. His name is Highwayman, who is always on. Mm-hmm. So, but this is the way he is. I'm going to undo him. Are you going to go to the barn? No, you're going to go find the camera.
You're just spectacular.
I know. But the breed is, I've had Dartmoor ponies, oh my gosh, probably 30 years, long time. My first stallion I got in 1987, he was the first one I brought from England. And they've been a joy. I've raised a lot of babies, broken a lot of them, have sent them on their way. I think I told you before, sometimes we have goals for these animals, and then they say, I really don't want to do that.
Right.
So you then have to back up and say, well, what is it you want to do?
Right.
And so we try to be very careful about doing that. But they'll do it to please you, mm-hmm. But some of them make it perfectly clear that they don't. But they are well built.
They are.
They're not refined, other than, like I say, I would like him to have more bone, but you'll see that in some of the other ponies. And it's one of the things we look for. But he did bring the elegance that we wanted, and we actually needed more for the American market. But he has done his job. Yeah. He owes us nothing.
He is perfect. I mean, he's fine and refined and elegant, but he's still stocky and bulldoggy.
Right,
so, I mean,
right.
That's a pretty
I'll try to move him just a minute. Let me see if I can get him to.
That's such a pretty blend of. Gosh, isn't that beautiful? He looks like he's just floating.
Hi, I'm Jesse Chase of Jesse Chase Performance Horses in Wendell, North Carolina, and I'm proud to feed Mule City Feeds. Mule City was first recommended to me by a vet who felt that I would benefit from a custom mitt. Overall, I've been thrilled with the customer service at Mule City Feed, the quality of products that they use, and how my horses have looked and performed since making that change. So stop by today and check out Paul Dunn at Mule City Feeds.
Hi, I'm Carly Wheelis, and I would like like to invite you to come out to the Everything Equine Expo, August 23rd through the 25th in Lumberton, North Carolina. I fell in love with Mustangs after watching the movie Wild Horse, Wild Ride. And I saw it and I was like, I really like to do that one day when I'm an adult competitor. Then I found out about the youth division in the Extreme Mustang Makeover. In 2017, I applied to compete for the first time. I fell in love after my first round at the makeover, and I've been doing it ever since. This year I just completed my 4th Extreme Mustang Makeover, which was in Lexington, Kentucky, and me and my mare finished 4th overall. It was an experience to remember, and I'm so excited for next year and the more experiences I'll have. Come to Lumberton to see our demo and learn more about the American Mustang.
This is the Highwayman, that's his name. And you can see on this colt is 4 years old. He has he drives, and he's had some really nice, he's a great pony to drive, but he is a high performance pony. Mm-hmm. But you can see he's a little more bone, mm-hmm. little more moorland look to him, and he has had just his first breeding season. So you'll see his first foal. Okay. It's over here from last year. I said no, thank you. And I adore this colt. He's a lot of fun to drive. He's a clown. Please don't do that. But again, as much as he's a clown, you know, he is steady, and I could drive this pony through a fire. Right. I mean, he is just boing, boing. But he's always on, and obviously we're going to lose this battle. Would you please give that to me? Thank you. And we'll move him around because he'll play. But again, nice bone. Mm-hmm. He's a good pony. We haven't been able to really ride him because he's so little. Right. That really, I can't find a small enough child that I would put on this colt. Mm-hmm. So he's probably always going to be driven. Right. And but he has lived with his mare successfully. He was good. Hi, would you step it? Hey. He says the camera's on. No, he's going to do it. So, and he loves the hose, and he's a real character. But he comes from a farm called Moortown, which is a very old breeding farm in England. The Jordans have had ponies forever and ever. And as I say, his father was a pony named the Replica, who actually was never, I'll fix you, he was never domesticated. And so we did have some concerns when he first came over, but he's been a good boy, and we're very pleased with his colt. So, and the other nice thing about these ponies is they cross well. Mm-hmm. We've had successful crosses with warm bloods, quarter horses, thoroughbreds, and ponies that have gone to pony finals, have, evented, they've done everything. So the cross is great because, again, the work ethic, the basic soundness of these ponies, and I will show you something because this pony can jump the moon. And if you turn around and you look at that gate with the ladder on the top. Mm-hmm.
I see why the ladder's up there.
Right here. 3 times. He did it the first time, and we thought, okay, he just got to going, And no, after the 3rd time, we had to figure out something to keep him from jumping, because this thing can jump the moon. And it was a 5-foot spread. The inside hot wire was 2.5 feet, and the gate was 5 foot. Wow. And he jumped that, and I didn't see him do it. My husband saw him do it. And Peter kept saying, you couldn't see his feet.
He tucked him.
He was.
That's so cool.
So then you cross that.
Yeah.
With some of these high performance for either dressage or eventing or whatever, and they're awesome. Yes. And they really are awesome because, again, they have the disposition, and just, you are a good boy. All right, take this. Okay. I'm going to let him move around.
He is fabulous. Oh my goodness, isn't he beautiful? Oh yeah.
He's going to go torture that colt over there. I'll move him back over here.
Okay.
Come on, Todd.
Hey, my name is Leisha Griffith. I'm half of Brock Griffith Horsemanship. We're based in Graham, North Carolina. We're happy to be helping out with the Everything Equine Expo in 2019 for the third year in a row. This year they're going to have it August 23rd through the 25th. We want to invite you guys to come out, come see the colt starting. They're having a farrier competition, a trail competition, parade of breeds, lots of demos with a lot of different trainers, shopping, food. It's just all about horses. So we would love for you guys to come out and come support this and help keep the Western lifestyle going. Tripp and I will be there doing some demonstrations, and we're going to be emceeing the colt starting as well as helping with judging it. They've got an outstanding lineup of clinicians this year. Even got a couple of stars from a TV show. Booger Brown's going to be coming in from the Cowboy Way, and 5 other clinicians that are just outstanding colt starters, every one of them in their own right. So we're really looking forward to seeing who's going to go home the champion. Again, we hope you guys can come out. It's going to be held at the Southeastern Agriculture Center in Lumberton, North Carolina, August 23rd through the 25th.
They have a program where they have gone around the country and they've collected up a lot of the old breeding stock where people really aren't. So they reestablished some of the old breeding lines.
Nice.
So he goes back to a wonderful stallion named Peddler, and we actually had one of his foals for a stallion Pinocchio for years. They were on vacation, and Julian, who quite often gets on the internet, I guess, searched around and he found this stallion who was in Switzerland. I think it was in the Alps. Had never been used as a stallion.
Wow.
And they bought him and brought him back to England. He had wonderful pedigree. And so this is his first foal crop, was this colt. And as I say, he has a little different head. This is a really nice old-timey moorland head. A little bit of a Roman nose, but again, tons of bone, lovely neck, nice layback of shoulder. I mean, he's just a lovely colt. We can't wait to see his first foal, and just as quiet as a lamb.
Do they have like a stallion book or a stallion test or something that you can do?
No, not a test. No, really and truly, it's kind of controversial because the woman who originally brought Dartmoors over, Mrs. Dunning from Farnley Farm in 1936, and she was my mentor for years, and she used to tell me, if a stallion has something that you don't want to breed, then don't breed to it. But for me to tell you that your stallion, it's very subjective.
Right.
And really and truly, I mean, and there are all kinds of people that do all kinds of things. But for this small a breed, like I say, if there's something you don't like about him, don't use him. Who says you got to?
Sure.
You know, I pick out the stallions that I want for my mares, and if there were a problem that I wasn't happy about, then don't use them.
His hair coat's different than his.
It's tighter.
It is. I mean, it's very different.
It's very tight, and and in the winter,
I bet it's thick, isn't it?
It's not, and it's not really thick and woolly. It's tight and waterproof.
I bet.
Because
That's
if you
cool.
put your fingers down in his coat in the winter, it's wet, sopping wet on the outside, but you go down and his skin is as dry as a bone.
Yeah, his hair almost has a wiry texture.
Yep.
It's really, really different.
It is.
Nice though, it's soft, but it just
It is.
different.
It's tight. It's
Yeah,
just very tight.
very.
No, you
Yes.
cannot have the microphone.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to see. He's a little bit lazier. So I'm
Okay,
gonna
we'll see what he looks like moving.
Come on.
Hello, my name is Brock Griffith. I'd like to invite you guys out to the Everything Equine Expo this August 23rd through 25th at the Ag Center in Lumberton, North Carolina. It's going to be a little bit of everything there for you, from a colt starting to a trail competition, farrier competition, whether you're a horse person, cow person, the weekend trail rider, or the serious show person. There's going to be a lot there for you to see and do, and we look forward to seeing you there. Come on out and check us out.
But again, everything we do is from behind to start them out from driving, so that, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Good baby.
Oh, thank you very much.
Good baby.
So we like to do this like even out in the open field. That's a good boy.
Easy.
Can I have this? No, no.
Good boy.
No, you just are not going to bite me.
Are you nippy, little stud?
Yes. Soon as it cools off.
I know.
As soon as it cools off.
Beautiful, though. Good gracious, you're
Right.
pretty.
He was born on Good Friday.
Nice.
And this girl, there, goodbye. Goodbye.
Says, but I'm not done.
No, I'm going to go get that camera.
I like babies. I like babies. Is that fly
But
bug in
again,
you?
nice chest, nice bone.
I know.
Just, you know, we're getting what we want.
Yeah. His head's fabulous.
And you are a pain.
Is your name Fry Pain?
Now he's a full brother to the this little gelding over here.
Right.
But again, they'll be the four in hand. This guy is not as heavily boned, but he's a very pretty mover. And in a four in hand, you have the wheelers and you have the leaders.
Right.
He will be a leader because
Okay.
he's just this very pretty. The ones up front are the pretty movers. The wheelers actually do the work.
Right. They're the power.
They're the power, and he's going to have power.
Oh, he is. Look at his butt.
Yeah, well,
He's
just
gorgeous.
hang on to your tripod. And the wire. No.
What do you think about that, huh?
Check things out.
What do you think about that, Squirt?
See if I get him to move. Not much.
They're all beautiful.
There.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I certainly enjoyed learning all about the Dartmoor ponies. And if you get a chance, come down to the Expo in Lumberton, August 23rd through the 25th, and get a chance to meet them firsthand. Thanks for watching.